Hi guys, it's Felicia with Happily EverAfter Living, and in today's video I thought it would be fun to share with you guys what we spent in a week. Basically everything that we spent for our recent vacation to Las Vegas. We went to Sedona and we also visited the Grand Canyon. We had a marvelous time and I thought it would be fun because, to be quite honest, I'm one of those people that watch like a ton of videos before I planned this trip to kind of see what other people spent. So I thought maybe this video would be helpful and it would help someone else. I do want to say that I wouldn't consider this to be like the most budget friendly vacation. It was for two people, my husband and I. There are definitely areas where we could have cut back, and I could even do a video maybe later to explain to you guys ways that we've taken like very, I don't want to say cheap, but extremely frugal vacations in the past, and like ways that we've saved. So I wouldn't say that this is the most budget friendly, but there were areas where we choose to spend a little bit more, and there are areas in which we definitely save money. So I will be sure to share that with you here in this video. I also want to say this video took me a while because I didn't know how to upload it. Like, I didn't know how to record it. Like, I want to share the information with you, but I also don't want to read from the screen the entire time because it's a lot of numbers. But bear with me. Like, I'm a physical therapist. I'm not some mathematician. So I am actually going to read a lot of these numbers from the screen. What I would like to do is maybe like put my budget next to me. So we'll see if I can get that done. If not, then I'll be sure to at least pop up the total prices like at the bottom of the screen. We'll see. Okay, first start with our flights. You guys may have heard me say or mention in another video, what is going on here? Okay, so let's start with our flights. You guys may have heard me mention in a previous video that we do use credit cards now that, you know, we're out of debt and we've learned how to use credit cards responsibly. So we use my Chase Sapphire card for our flights. I'll actually put a link down in the description box. It's a referral link. So so at the time of the recording of this video, I believe Chase Sapphire is at like 100,000 points. It may be a little bit more, but I know it's at least 100,000 points. But for us, it gave us $1,250 towards like reward dollars towards travel. So that was really good. So the total cost of our flight should have costed $1,047.58. However, we used our Chase Sapphire rewards points and we paid $0. $0 for those flights. Amazing! I'm so excited about that. But in full transparency, we did end up paying $270 because, as you guys know, we're currently in the middle of a pandemic, and my husband and I decided that we wanted, we bought the exit row seat. So we paid extra to have the larger seat so we would have more space. You can do that, you don't have to do that. So our flights were free, but we did spend $270 for each one of us on the way there and the way back to choose our seats, and we chose the exit row for the larger seats, more space, not sitting right next to the person next to you. Okay, now let's move on to our next most expensive cost, of what would have been our most expensive cost. And as you guys know, that is accommodations and lodging. So back in 2012, we purchased a timeshare, and I know Dave Ramsey hates timeshares, but for us, and I can't speak of anyone else's experience, for us, because we had a kid that played travel ball, our timeshare has actually saved us a lot of money. It cost us $6,000 up front in 2012, and since then we've been able to book at least like 4 week-long vacations within the state of Florida. We live in Florida, particularly Orlando, and those would typically cost us like around $189 for a week, but it's really paid off a lot, like as far as all the years that we played travel ball. So what I'm trying to say is we booked our hotel. We stayed at, let me get the proper name, Westgate Flamingo Bay in Las Vegas. We booked that for 1 week through Interval International. That is the company that we go through to book, like, because we're timeshare owners. And that trip costed, he paid $676.88. Now, that is really good for like a full week. It was a 1-bedroom condo. What I'll try to do is insert a little bit of film here. I should have recorded like before we put all our stuff in, but I actually ended up recording it, like just a little clip, you know, the day that we were leaving. So it was a 1-bedroom little condo. It was really nice, like $676 for a full week. I think that's pretty amazing, especially in Las Vegas. Now, I know some people are like, but what if I don't own a timeshare and I can't book through Interval International? Well, I booked 2 nights at this beautiful resort in Sedona. And for 2 nights, the total cost was $466.99. But we only paid $224.20, and that was really good. Like, that was a savings of $242.79. So the way that we did this, I recommend to everyone, find whether it be Expedia, hotels.com, and they should sponsor me for this video. We should add them. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. So I use hotels.com. I've used them for many, many years. And once you accumulate 10 nights, then you get 1 night free. Well, we ended up using, and that 1 night is the average of all of your other nights. So that's how we ended up saving like 2 nights off. And it came to a total of $242, like, because we don't really spend a lot of money, but still, if you take $242 off of the $466, like, that's a lot of savings, right? So that was a really good deal. We paid like half price for those 2 nights, and it had a beautiful balcony where you can look out like into the mountains. It was just gorgeous, and it felt really good to be able to save money in that area. I do want to skip back to Westgate. So without booking through Interval International, the total cost for that for 1 week would have been $1,693.33. So we saved $1,016.45. Like, amazing! Like, that was so... Listen, I'm proud. I'm always looking for a way to save money in any way that I can. And honestly, by us saving money on our flights, as well as saving money on accommodations and our rental car, which I'm about to talk about next, we were able to splurge and spend money in other areas. So let's talk about the rental car. Okay, so we booked the car for 1 week because we knew that we would be traveling between Las Vegas, through Nevada, and also through Arizona. And initially we looked at the app Turo, which is where it's like the Airbnb of rental cars, where people rent their cars out. And we wanted to go that route. However, what stopped us was that many of the cars had like a certain mileage, you know, like 500 miles for the week or something to that effect. So we ended up going ahead and booking through a rental car service, and we had unlimited mileage. So that was really nice. We also ended up booking an SUV, a Jeep Compass. And so we did pay a little bit extra for like to be in the SUV, whereas we could have been in like an economy car and saved some money there, but we chose the SUV. So the total cost was $340.62. However, I used my American Express cash flow rewards dollars, and I'll put a little thing in here. I paid $0 for that rental car. How amazing! At this time, I don't have a link for that, but I'll try to find one, and maybe I'll have it by the time this video uploads. But yeah, so like as I mentioned before, we only use our credit cards for things that we would typically buy anyways. And some of them do have a minimum spend. We can talk about that, or you guys can ask questions here. And we just continue to save our points because we know, you know, especially if you know ahead of time that you have a trip coming up, you can just allow your points to accumulate and use them for your vacations. It's almost like someone is paying you to go on vacation. Okay, let's move on. This is where it gets crazy. So we also spent for airport parking $105 we parked our car at Fort Lauderdale Airport, so $105 for airport parking. For gas and fuel and parking at one of the hotels, we spent a total of $140.20. And for a week, that's not too bad. You know, we mostly did the driving, like I mentioned, between the different states, so that wasn't bad. For food, I do want to mention on day one, I thought, excuse me, let me get a drink here. On day one, I thought my husband was going to kill our food budget because we went to this place called Samba Sushi. Not day one, day two. And we spent $199 and some change. And I was like, granted, it was also his birthday, and we have this thing in our family where it was your birthday, we don't really worry about the budget. But I was like, babe, we can't do this the whole time. We can't do this the whole time. So food, I totaled everything out for the entire trip. We spent $569.72 on food for 2 people for 1 week. Now, we definitely could have saved money in those areas. There were some times that we went to the grocery stores, but if we were really trying to save money, I know that I could have gotten that down. I could have easily like cut this budget down by at least $200. Like that one night of sushi, like if you're on the budget, you know, you can easily get that down, no problem. Now let's talk about some of the fun stuff. So days we did this Instagram photo tour. That was so fun. Like I have decided that everywhere I go to visit, I'm actually gonna do this because usually I'm the one that takes pictures, so I'm always behind the camera and I never get pictures of myself. So we did this Instagram photo tour. I'll probably insert some of the pictures in here so you guys can see. It was so much fun, and that cost us $50 per person. So for $100, we have these amazing pictures that we could put up here at the house at some point. So that was definitely worth it. And we booked that through Airbnb. Now, the next thing we did was the Hoover Dam cruise. That was $70, so $35 per person. Totally worth it. Like, I feel like that we got so much value for, for what we paid. We got so much value. And actually, the video I did regarding emotional eating, like, that's like part of the tour from that cruise. And we did have to pay, there was an entry fee, like, because that was through a state park, so there was an entry fee of $25. But again, like for less than $100, it was definitely worth it. Now, where we splurged, we did a couples massage and facials. I'm laughing because this was my husband's first time having a full body massage and a facial. So he was like, you didn't prepare me for all of that. But guys, it was so worth it. We spent, and this includes the tips, and I also want to say that we tend to tip well. So $420 for both of us to have a massage and a facial. It was beautiful in the same room. Like, it was just such a wonderful experience. So I would definitely do that again if budget allows. Now, ways if you wanted to do that, like there was an option where we could have done 30-minute massages versus 60 minutes. And also with the facials, we could have skipped that or even done like a lesser time frame for that. So it was worth it though. Next, we spent $35 to get into the Grand Canyon. I would pay that over and over and over again. Oh my goodness, the Grand Canyon was just such a beautiful reminder of nobody but God. Nobody but him. I would try to insert some pictures or videos in here as I'm talking right now, but the Grand Canyon, it was such a beautiful experience. It was worth every dime. $35 to get into there. It's definitely worth it. And also, we were there for quite some time because I got my 10,000 steps there, which I try to do every day. But yeah, it was beautiful and worth it. Now, the next thing, people, like, everyone may not want to do this, but in our family, like, we're huge components of coaching or therapy. And my husband and I, at least once a year, usually around our anniversaries, we just kind of like to check in with the third party, you know. And this was so nice, guys. We actually, believe it or not, my husband said this was his most favorite part. We spent $298 for this experience on Airbnb called the Couples Hike and Heal Coaching Session. So basically what it was that we met at one of the, like, we met our tour guide who was a coach, Coach Jay.
I got it.
And we hiked, and like throughout the hike, you're talking about like your relationship and each other and yourselves. Like, it was, oh, it was so beautiful. It really was. So let me tell you how beautiful it was. We tipped him $50. So that also added into the cost as well. But it was just such a wonderful experience. And I would definitely pay that again. Because if you truly think about it, it cost, like, let's say $300. So $150 per person for a coaching session. And this lasted for, I think, about 2 hours. So it was worth it. All right, so all of our fun stuff costed us a total of $998. So almost $1,000 on fun. Listen, I know everyone spends their money differently, but I had a good time. And honestly, I think that's probably a lot less than what most people would spend. So for personal money, we budgeted $500 a person. So my husband had $500 and I had $500, and that was just like outside of everything else that we had kind of budgeted for. So I will add, let me just skip down real quickly. I came back with $380, and my husband came back with $102. And in full transparency, I'm not gonna lie, I lost like $100 at the casino. I lost $100 at the casino. Maybe like 110. But it was fun though. Like, I don't have any regrets, and I'm sure people probably lose a whole lot more than that. And I will say, like, having financial goals will keep you on track, because my returns elsewhere could be so much better than the returns at the casino, and we both were just kind of like laughing about that with each other. So yeah. Okay, so if we just stop there, that amount is under or right around $3,500. But there are other things, other expenses that we had as a family. For instance, we paid one of our neighbors $100 to feed our ducks. That's important. Also, for doggy daycare, we paid a total of $255.50, and that includes the time that he was boarded, along with the $50 tip. So total cost minus the amount that we came back with was $3,857.50. That is amazing. Like, I think that is so good to go on vacation and literally do everything you want, not have to worry about money because you've planned ahead, you've budgeted for this trip. We actually budgeted $4,500 for this trip. So the goal was to keep it under $4,500, and we did that. So I am so proud of us. I'm so proud that we were able to have a good time and not come back. As a matter of fact, like, once we came back, we zeroed out the credit cards, paid off everything. because we do like sinking funds. So we have been saving for the trip. So we took all of that money, wiped out the credit cards, got them back down to zero immediately, didn't even wait for the bill. And it was just such an amazing time. So if you're thinking about visiting Las Vegas or Sedona or the Grand Canyon, just know this trip is so affordable. And I know that affordable is like in relationship to whom or what, but there are so many ways. If you go back, and I'll put the expenses here, if you go back and just look at the money that we spent and decide how you would do this with your family, I'm sure that you can find so many ways where we could have cut back or saved money, or there's things that we could have completely eliminated, and you can make this work for yourself, or for your family, or even if not Las Vegas or Sedona or Grand Canyon, other vacations. And I'll be sure to share some of those as well, because we have done a lot of other vacations on the cheap, like less than $1,000 for our entire family. We've done trips for $500 for all 5 of us. Like you do it and you make it happen. So listen, this is the video where if you have any questions, please put them down in the comment section below. I will be sure to answer. And also please thumbs up this video, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.